you. Thank you, Eileen. She's been here with almost all of these, helping out and assisting. So appreciate that. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And oh, somebody's got a beautiful, unless that's a virtual one. I was like, maybe that's a virtual background. Is it Lelia with the rainbows? Love that, though. Love that. So
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome, welcome. I see a few faces that I have seen before. So thank you for being here and being with us. And we were saying hello as people were coming on. So truly appreciate it. And, I was, I have to tell you a little confession real quick. I was talking to Eileen, before we do a little check and everything before we get on here. And I was like, I wonder how many we know how many people actually registered. And then I was saying, I wonder how many actually will actually be on, because when we talk about health and we're eating right and things, sometimes people like, well, I know that I'm really not doing that, so I'm going to avoid this particular one, right? An avoidance behavior. So I'm proud of all of you for being on. For those of you that don't necessarily have avoidance behavior, but honestly are busy and teaching and doing whatever you're doing right now, and you're going to be watching the recording, I applaud you for being on with us later on for the recording. So everything we say here applies to you as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that so very much. And I am going to go into, and everybody can hear me okay, right? Thumbs up? Okay. All right, wonderful. So once I start, if you do have a question, I know Eileen's going to help kind of monitor it. I don't mind having a couple questions in between the presentations. I just will be on the slide. So Eileen, if somebody does have a particular question, just ahead, I don't mind that. If it gets too many, then I might have to answer more at the end, but that will be fine for us as well. So kind of make it a little interactive, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm going to share a screen and go over. Let me go here to the beginning. All right, kind of go over here. All right. So for those of you, Eileen gave you a little bit of my bio. So I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. I am a speaker, coach, and practitioner. So I actually am a holistic life coach, and I am a rest practitioner amongst some other specialties that I do have and some certifications. But REST stands for Rapid Reprogramming of Emotional Stress Technique. And we talked a lot about mindset and subconscious in our last webinar that we did. So check that out if you have not seen that. And part of what I do is really help people with their overall mindset and their health set. So that's where we're coming from, that standpoint today. We're going to be talking about health and more from a holistic standpoint as well, okay, as a practitioner that I am. So I actually grew up in New York. I have learned to slow down my speech, though, and be very fluid, I think, and try to interact with people. But sometimes, in New York, we could just go, fast, cut to the chase and stuff. And you cannot do that to be relatable with people. So I moved to North Carolina later in life, and that's where I had to learn that skill to be able to adapt to many different people. So growing up, though, as you can see, I had horses. I used to show horses. I had a very, very, very busy lifestyle. So I was always very active. I was into sports. I was into doing competitive things, even with the horses. I was in dressage. I did jumper. I jumped, and I had a drill team that actually was with the horses, which was kind of cool. So I've always been into fitness and being active. And then I went into corporate America. Then I started working 70, 80 hours a week. I don't know who else can relate, but if you want to raise your hand, great. If not, we won't call you out, so don't worry about that. But I was actually at a very young age, I got recruited into the Walmart Corporation. I worked for the Sam's Club division, had a great time while I was there. Like literally, I really did love my job, but it was a lot of hours, a lot of stress, and a lot of not eating well at that time. So I want to kind of go into a little bit about that and why things had to change. So my family, had a beautiful family, started my own business, wind up, getting divorced, which it's totally okay because many blessings come from that as well. And you know what? I have beautiful children. And the guy right here, if you can see that, that's Cody. He's actually my adopted son that I mentor. He's actually out in Salt Lake City too. So he's not my birth son, but he is somebody who I call son and he calls me mama. So I absolutely love him as well. And next 45 minutes here, and I'm going to try to set my timer too. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can change your life by feeding your body and making some simple changes that will actually make the world a difference. I can promise you that. I don't like to promise a lot of things, but when I teach these types of workshops, if you even implement a few of these things, it's so life-changing and it's so simple. You just have to be willing to do it, a willing vessel, okay? So part of the reason this is so near this particular topic, this and the power of our mind is such a dear topic to me personally. And I hope I don't want to get too emotional here, but my mom is not actually in this particular picture because my mother actually passed away when I was in my early 20s and she was in her mid 50s, way too early for somebody to pass away. And she passed away from disease that I feel is firmly could have been reversed and helped. She actually had diabetes, very bad diabetic, was on insulin for a lot of her life and, didn't have the tools back then. She had the mind, but she didn't really have the tools back then to really make the changes that I know that she could have made. And some simple things where she just accepted the fact that the doctor was telling her, this is what you have, this is what you're gonna have for the rest of your life, and so on and so forth. I don't believe that your DNA is your destiny, because in your DNA is not necessarily, let me put it this way. Not all things are passed down to us hereditarily, and this is why I'm going to show you these pictures. Your DNA can be changed. You can turn on and off dirty gene receptors. Okay, I can't get into all of that right now, but they can be changed. So don't accept the fact if you say, well, this does run in my family, so I'm going to get it or I'm going to pass it on to other generations. I'm going to show you this picture. I show this out of love. Okay, my father, he's passed away, and he passed away several years ago, but this was one of the pictures of, this is one of my brothers and one of my sisters. And these are my blood brothers and sisters. And you can see the changes, right? I'm the only one out of seven siblings that has no chronic disease in my body, none. And I did not pass it on to my two daughters either. Why is that? Because in my early 20s, I took a stand. I did not want what happened to my mother to happen to me or to my children. So I took a stand for my health. And like I said, I was so extremely stressed out and overwhelmed and all of that. I had to take control over that. One of my sisters, one of my brothers, I mean, this is just one picture of some of the siblings. They actually have diabetes, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, depression, many different things. And I'm not saying that to boast myself. I'm saying that things can be changed. I'm not saying that it's always easy, but some things are very simple. And now I'm proud to say that this one right here, my sister Estelle, she's been working with me for about 2 years now, finally, and being able to do some of the changes that I have suggested for her with some of the things that we're going to go through today. And her AC1 levels have come down, many different things. And I'm not a health practitioner, but I do know a lot of things about true whole food way of life. Okay. So I wanted to show you that it doesn't have to be your destiny. You can make those changes. Okay. So right here in our country, because I work with some people in other countries, but in our country, you guys, we don't have a healthcare problem. We actually have a sick care problem. And according to the Center for Science, okay, and in the public interest, and also Harvard, let me kind of reduce this one thing right here real quick. Sorry, guys. In Harvard, let me go back. Okay. It turns out that eating and physical inactivity are the leading causes of death in the US, that we lose over 678,000 people every year due to nutrition and obesity related diseases. So let me tell you, so my mother was not obese. My mother was heavier set, but my mother actually passed away of heart failure due to diabetes. She had 2 arteries that were 90% clogged at the time. And my mother was living with me at the time. I was helping to take care of her at a very, very young age. And they came in and told me that my mother was in, you know, heart distress and that she may not make it. And I was like, what? So yeah, not very good. So here's another thing. We also don't have a vitamin deficiency in this country. We actually have a whole food deficiency in this country. Okay. Now, our bodies, of course, are finely tuned machines, and they run off of food, exercise, and the sleep that we give them. And because of that, proper nutrition is the building block of our health and everything on how we feel, how we look, and it's determined by our food choices. By our food choices, guys. Now, unfortunately, many people do prioritize their convenience over health, which is unbalanced and an unhealthy diet. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the SAD diet, and it's literally SAD, Standard American Diet. Okay, I'm going to show you some of this. And now wonder why it's actually called SAD. And I think when you think about that, our diet in America is just atrocious. We have saturated fats, lots of sodium in our bodies, and so much so, and so much added sugar that our bodies don't know what to do with it sometimes, right? So if you look at this here, if you look at this graphic, and I know you guys will get this recording and you go back, but you look at this graphic from the bottom all the way up. I mean, people are eating 610 calories in grains per day, almost 600 in added fats, oil, and dairy, and then 545 in meat, eggs, and nuts, 400 in sweeteners, more like, it's just, and look at where the fruits and veggies come in. 206 calories per day, and that's based on 2,700 or so calories per day. Now, look at this. This is absolutely crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. If you look at this, okay? And when we go through this, this is just something for you to actually examine for yourself, okay? No judgments. This is a safe zone, okay? But I want you to take a hard look at yourself and what it is that you are putting into your body. Because look at all these added sugars, 40% in beverages like sodas, you know, Gatorades, juices, those types of things, right? Donuts. And we call the SAD diet actually more of a beige diet. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I have another graphic for you. But look at all of this, all these other things. And people think that you can't get protein or enough protein from plants. Yes, you can. You just have to learn what to actually put in your body. So I am not vegan, but I'm pescatarian. And it took me a while to get there, but there were certain things that I had cut out of my diet over the years as I learned more and more what was really best for me and best for my kids and best for longevity, okay? So if you look at all of that saturated fat and sodium, you know, pizza, and I'm not saying like every once in a while do I have something like this. I will have a pizza once in a while, but it's not an every week thing, right? But look at the bottom, all of this, what this actually helps to contribute to. It helps, and overconsumption can lead to diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease. Like I said, that's what my mother wound up having, but it was stemmed back from the diabetes. Heart disease, you know, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and so much more, so much more. So right here, this gives you a perfect example of 1740 calories, right? 1740 calories. On the left side, this is the SAD diet. You know, on the go convenience things, right? And that right there, that one thing, it's like a burrito wrap with other stuff in it. And look at that, the Coke, right? It's an old Coca-Cola picture of a Coke bottle, but look at that. Versus, okay, and that's all calorie dense, meaning like your body really is not getting nutrients from this. And if you look at this picture, all of that, that's so much food. And it's still the same amount of calories. And this is over, that's not in one sitting, right? But you can have this as a healthy snack, a great little breakfast. And then by lunchtime, you know, you're having this and you're fueling your body, right? You are full and you're satisfied. So I'm not going to kind of harp on that, but it's just to show you the difference. Like when I did, I was like, wow, that is absolutely just crazy. Okay, so some of the lessons actually I had to learn is actually I had to eat right to feel great for myself. And remember, you know, I was a single mom for a long time. My daughters now are, let me think, 22 and 29. And the lessons that they got to see while we changed different things actually help them now as young adults, which I'm so, so proud of them. So every bite we actually take is either fighting disease or it's feeding it. I want you to remember that, fighting disease or feeding it. So how you treat your bodies and the food that you eat dramatically impacts not only how you feel, but the level of sickness and disease that you can get or not. So look at these numbers. This is from the National Cancer Institute. 3 out of 4 Americans don't eat a single piece of fruit in a day. 9 to 10 don't reach the minimum required recommended intake of vegetables. We're supposed to have anywhere from 9 to 14 fruits and veggies every single day and from the different color of the rainbow. 96% don't reach the minimum for greens in a week. And we eat about 610 calories a day of grain products and only 206 calories of fruits and veggies, like I showed you on that other picture. Okay, and we wonder why we have the obesity rate, the health issues that we have. And I think it's hilarious that we call the diet SAD, the standard American diet, because it really is sad. So here's some things. I want you, how are you taking care of yourself? Are you eating real food? Are you meal prepping? You know, are you bringing things to your job where you're at? Some of you, I think, is still working remotely from home, and that's okay. But the days if you are going in somewhere else, what are you bringing? What are you eating? Right? Are you exercising? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night? So here's the questions that I want you to write down, take a screenshot of, however you can do that, okay? I want you to make sure that you get this. I want you to ask yourself, how much water do I drink every single day? And I'm gonna actually put you on a water challenge. How much soda and caffeine, coffee, do I drink every day? How much real, not processed food am I eating every day? And this is truth time. You can jot this down, okay? What is my sugar and my salt intake? Because cravings go up and down, but even when you don't think, like, just because you're not having a piece of dessert, there's sugar in all kinds of, refined sugar is in all kinds of things, guys. So how much sugar and salt intake do I have? How many fruits and vegetables, honestly, are you eating every single day? And what I found is that for me, with the people that I've worked with, over the years, an average, they're eating about maybe 1 or 2 fruits and veggies per day. And it seems to be like the same 4 or 5 things that they get on a consistent basis. So you're really not getting the nutrients and the phytonutrients in our body because you're not having enough from the different colors of the rainbow. Okay. How many hours do I sleep? What type of exercise do I get and how do I do it? Do I do it daily? Do I do it weekly? Okay. Ask yourself those questions and be real with yourself. Do a self-assessment, do some reflection and say, okay, is it time for me to make changes so I can be healthier and move forward? Or am I already super healthy, but am I going to make some more slight changes or add some things that I can optimize my health? Okay, so think about those things for me. Okay, hold up. Okay, sometimes this thing gets stuck here. Well, it's wanting to stay stuck on this particular side for some reason. Oh my gosh, hold on. All right, guys, give me a second. Something is going on with the computer. Huh. This is always fun when you have a little bit of tech issue. It's like, I don't know if our internet just went down or something, and it won't even let me escape. Eileen, if you have any suggestions.
I was going to say, try stopping the screen share and then doing it.
Okay, let me see. Stop screen share. All right, guys, technical issues. Give us 1 sec. Prayerfully it will. So let's go back to screen share.
Yeah, maybe it's taking up a lot of your resources or something.
All right, let's go. Let's go back to here. All right. Go back. All right. Okay, let's see. Well, let me go back into here, you guys. Current slide. There we go. Okay, thanks. All right, so back in gear here. So some more lessons that I learned. So over the years, one of the things that you want to make sure to check your levels is your vitamin D levels. Okay, very, very important. And again, at the end, I'm going to be able to answer questions. You can send me a text. We can set up some time to chat. I don't mind to do that. But vitamin D is really important, even though I know you guys are down in Florida, and I hope you don't mind. I just say you guys, but everybody, right? That you're down in Florida. But vitamin D is not just, we think we get enough because we're out in the sun and everything, but that's just not the case. Good omegas. I actually personally have a plant-based omega that I take and that I recommend fully for people. Love it. It actually has 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 omega in it, not just omega-3. So a doctor is always going to tell you, oh, you need to get at least some omega-3 in your body. But when you have a broad spectrum of omegas, not only does it help with your brain health, it helps with your joints, your cardiovascular, helps with nails, hair. My hair goes crazy, you guys, like crazy. And again, this is actually plant-based, which it has algae in it. So you actually don't have to have fish oil. You don't. Where do you think the fish are eating? They're eating the algae. So this has algae and some other great things in it to be able to really nourish your body. And, personally, we're helping the marine life when you go plant-based for that, okay? So different probiotics, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Magnesium, whole food supplement, which I'm going to talk about that as well. And also make sure to get your B12. A lot of people's B12 is deficient. So double check when you go get some lab works, always ask about that. And then of course, we're going to be talking about some different, holistic remedies that we're going to explore. So here's an anti-inflammatory diet. So for those of you that are dabbling into things, so for me, I'll go back, okay? So for me, one of the first things I had taken out of my diet was red meat. So not saying that you have to do that. I'm just saying if you're eating a whole lot of that, start to taper down and eat really good fine cuts, more like a a filet mignon, right? Or eat grass-fed beef. If you start to really monitor those things, take that out. So I took out red meat, all the hamburger stuff. I took out lean turkey after a while. I took out chicken, and I did it in stages. I had taken out pork a long, long, long time ago. Okay. But then I went and did more plants and fish. And I love being able to eat shrimp and salmon, all kinds of things, but you get those things that are wild caught. Okay. So an anti-inflammatory diet that's rich in fruits, veggies, wild caught fish, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Okay. And you want to absolutely, and we're going to talk about this a little bit towards the tail end too, you want to limit the foods that may worsen the inflammatory responses, like processed food, alcohol, and added sugar. And not only those things, I'm going to show you about dairy and gluten and why you want to look at possibly taking those out of your diet as well. Okay. So you actually have to be your number one health advocate. You do. Because until you do, nothing changes, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so many people, and I'm not knocking this, but so many people, if you have some kind of health condition and you get a diagnosis from your regular doctor, okay, which mind you, and I say this with a whole lot of love, that what, and this is what I found out even through my doctor friends that I have, they only go through about one rotation of nutrition when they are becoming doctors. So that's just heartbreaking to me. Okay. But sometimes you accept what they say right off the bat without looking at changing diet and exercise and routine and mindset. And a lot of times they just want to put people on pills, right? Sometimes you have to, absolutely. Sometimes you have to. But when you are, there's ways that you can work with your diet and your body to reduce that and ultimately have that be your goal, to reduce the medications that you're on. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to challenge you, and look, I've got one right here, is lemon water. Okay. Take a sip right now. Okay. So here's the benefits of lemon water every day. Okay. It helps shred toxins from the body. It acts as, a liver detox as well. Absolutely love it. Now, I only like a couple pieces, where Brian, okay, he'll have a big thing, big mason jar, and he's got like 5 or 6 pieces in it, right? So whatever floats your boat, do that. But every morning, it actually acts as a natural diuretic, so you don't really need that coffee, okay? It dissolves gallstones. Did you know that? It breaks down phlegm. It relieves constipation, helps with digestive aid, and alkalines the body. That's really, really important, you guys. It helps to alkaline your body. So every morning, just a quick tip, first of all, I'm going to challenge you. I want you to tell me at the end, or put in the chat, how many glasses of water do you drink per day? And then my challenge is going to be for you for the next 7 days to increase that by at least 2 more glasses. Just simple, increase it by 2 more glasses. But in the morning, okay, if you can't do it in the morning, then please do it at lunchtime. One of the fastest things that you can do is at night, get yourself a glass cup, glass or steel, don't put things in plastic, okay? Fill it up, put yourself some lemon in it, and then in the morning, cover it at night so you've got something over it so no dust mites and stuff and anything's getting in it. And then right there at your bed, on your nightstand or in your bathroom, have that. So when you first wake up, you're drinking some lemon water, okay? Some people like to actually heat it up a little bit. So if that's you, then, go heat it up in a cup. But at least if you prepare it the night before, you have no excuses. So the next 7 days, I want you to add 2 more glasses of water to what you're already doing, okay? It can be baby steps. And then make sure that one of those glasses are actually drinking some lemon water. And I prefer and recommend people do that in the morning to help you detoxify your body. Okay. All right. So I do have a gift. There's a couple gifts I'm going to have for you today, since it's our last in our series, okay, with overall health, wellness, and staying in that space. So you want to not use like fried foods. You want to bake, saute, and how many of you, by show of hands real quick, how many of you have an air fryer, right? We do. And at first it was like, woo, okay? It's so much healthier for you. And you can do all your fried things that you normally would do in the air fryer, okay? No oil or anything. It's so incredible. So that is my phone number, 910-670-9172. And I have a cookbook that's part of a Healthy Revolution that I am a part of, that is healthy air fryer recipes for you, okay? Now, okay, most of them are going to be all plant-based, just to let you know, okay? But don't let that stop you or scare you. Add these things as sides as you're making changes that you can make for your overall health, okay? So I'll remind you of that real quick at the end as well. But you can get a free recipe cookbook from me to use with your air fryer. If you don't have one, this will give you an opportunity to go out and get one, right? I promise you. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions in the chat.
Sure.
Somebody wants to know, can you use bottled lemon juice?
But yes, if you get it not from concentrate.
Okay.
Yes.
And what happens if someone has a stomach ulcer? Would lemon water be beneficial?
Okay, that we'd have to look at, because you don't want to probably add too much acidity to your body. So I can't answer that one off the bat. I'm going to ask you to Google it. You know, honestly, Google it and see. I do know that if you have that kind of issue, you can try just having a little bit. I wouldn't have a lot of it, as far as like putting 5 or 6 pieces in your water, right? But to maybe do just a little bit and test that and see how your stomach actually feels. I do a lot of things by elimination, okay? So little bit, and then see how your stomach feels. But if you're already very acidic, lemon actually does help to, like I said, to alkaline the body. So there is some other things that you can do to probably help alkaline the body as well. Okay, it's a good question.
One last one. Will apple cider vinegar and water have the same effect?
Not necessarily, but apple cider vinegar is very, very good for you as well. And we can explore some more things about that. It's very, very good for you. Some people will drink that with the water. And when you are not feeling so great, I actually tell you to take a shot size a couple times a day, and you just like hold your nose and do it, okay? And it'll help kind of clear some of that bad boy out. But on a consistent basis, if you do lemon, the lemon helps to do all of that. But apple cider vinegar, just side note, I don't want to make sure that we don't go over, because there's so much more to go over real quick. But apple cider vinegar is a great liver detox as well when you mix it with cranberry juice and the lemon juice. And I actually have a detox that I put people on for about 10 days, 10 to 12 days doing that. So yeah, if you're, whoever is interested in talking to me when we set something up, you're absolutely, I could bring these things up and share some of these other things with you for sure. But when you get lemon juice, okay, lemon juice, if you get cranberry juice, get it not from concentrate, because you don't want all that added sugar and everything, okay? So good questions. Who's gonna go out and get an air fryer? Okay, so I wanna talk real quick. I'm gonna try to go as quick as I can through this. Are we good at time? Okay, I'm gonna try to go quickly through this. So some simple changes that I was able to make years ago, and therefore I don't just teach theory. I don't teach, just talk about stuff. So I walk the talk, right? And what I do is I do talk about these things with my clients in my coaching practice. And I also have another program that I'm a part of that is actually a free program for people to come into, okay, which is a lifestyle program that we do I do work with people, but we do it as a joint venture as well, that I tell you a little bit about. And this has made such a difference for us and so many people that I've worked with. So before I get into that though, but there's 2 trends in the world right now, okay? So that's increasing. So environmental toxins are increasing. So all the things that come around that go into our water, into our soil, the soil is totally different now as well. And, you know, obviously I won't get into all of that because we can take a really deep dive into those things. But environmental toxins are increasing and they're around us constantly. So we've got to do things to in your house as well. There's so many things that we need to do to protect our bodies, but also detox from these things. The other thing is that our food quality is decreasing. Okay, there's so many preservatives and flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, pesticides, trans fats, you know, artificial colors, synthetic vitamins. And that's the thing too, you guys, like I said, we're not vitamin deficient. We are actually whole food deficient. And multivitamins, multivitamins, if you're at least taking a multivitamin, okay, great. But multivitamins, let me tell you, we kind of joke and say that it's expensive urine, okay? Because you're literally peeing out about 90 to 90% of that because it's synthetically made, okay? Oxidative stress is linked to poor health. So, right, DNA is hit about 10,000 times a day by things that affect us, the oxidants in the actually air, the things that we're eating, all of that. And that's from the Environmental Health Sciences Center. The best defense for that actually is antioxidants. And where do you get antioxidants from? You get it from fruits and vegetables and ancient grains. Okay. And here's this is still true today. This was back in 2003 and it's still true today. The news isn't that fruits and veggies are good for you. It's that they're so good for you that they could actually save your life. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's about 10,000. There's too many to put on here. There's about 10,000 phytonutrients in one apple versus a multivitamin. So can you even, like, the magnitude of that blew my mind away when I learned this years ago. Okay. Now, and did you know, because everything is mass produced, it actually is and has a less nutrient punch to it. So much so you have about 40% of the nutrients are like gone, you guys, by the time it gets to the shelves. So if you can eat organic, that's of course the best. If you can't eat all organic, then get the things that you can eat that's organic, which if you want to look up something, look up the Dirty Dozen, and then those things are the ones that have the most pesticides and herbicides and things on them. And those would be the ones that I would start to get more organic than not. Okay, the Dirty Dozen. So because of this is what I actually recommend. And actually, the BeatCancer organization actually does recommend what I'm getting ready to explain to you as well. We actually, in our house, and for years, even with my kids growing up, as a single mom, I was able to provide this for them, okay? Because there's a children's health study where for every adult, when they're on the capsules or the soft chews of this whole food plant-based concentrate, then one child can be sponsored for free, as long as the child is between 4 and 18 years old, or if the child is over 18, they have to be in full-time college, okay? And I mean, like, even if you have a child that is 30 years old and they're in full-time college, going back to school right now during this pandemic, if they're in full-time college, okay, you as their parent could actually sponsor them through this program that would be for free. And I can tell more about that another time. But BeatCancer.org, actually the Center for Advancement in Cancer Education, recommends these particular whole food plant-based powders. It's a plant-based concentrate, and that is what we've been taking for years. Brian's been taking it, I think, over eating it, actually, because it's whole food, which is condensed down into a powder or a soft chew, okay? For those that don't like necessarily capsules. But what happened, he's been taking them for like 13, 14 years, and I've been about 11, 12 years now, okay? And the kids too. So check this out. So there's over 30 different plants, fruits and veggies in these capsules. You have veggies, you have fruit, and you have berries. So with this, you have the antioxidants in your body. So even if you did one simple change, which is adding in the different colors of the rainbow, because this is actually dehydrated down into a powder and or the gummy formula. It's got no carbs in it. And this particular capsules have no sugar in it, because a lot of times you have to watch what you're eating with fruit too. If you have, sugar or diabetes and that kind of stuff, but all of that is taken out. So it's in its natural state. And even the rinds are in there. So a lot of the times people don't understand that a lot of the most beneficial part of the fruit, right? Like the pineapple here, if you can see that, the core of the pineapple is in there. The core of the pineapple is in there. The skin of the apple is in there. Lemon peel is in there. If you come over here, artichoke, elderberry, black currant, blackberry, coca. When have you had some of these things? Dates, carrots, right? When have you had some of these things in your diet? I know I wasn't. So for me, one simple state change as I was doing the other things, this was something that helped us so much, and that I do recommend to people wholeheartedly, hand down. And here's part of the reason why. Told you that the Cancer Institute actually recommends them as well. They endorse them. And then they have over 40 different clinical studies around the world, different hospitals and universities around the world. Right here, where I live in North Carolina, UNC School of Medicine, right? That's right up the road. There's been research at Duke. There has been research here. MD Anderson Cancer Center, if you can look in here. MD Anderson Cancer Center actually feeds this to the cancer patients along with this. It's a plant-based, it's a whole food beverage, which some people would just call a shake, right? But it's plant-based and it's non-glycemic. So if you're diabetic, it doesn't spike your glycemic level, and it actually helps reduce cravings. So you don't have that crash in the afternoon when people have, okay? But if you look at this, Yale University, I mean, all over the country, all over the world, there's over 40 different clinical studies on this. And when I research something to put in my body and that I am going to give my recommendation for others, it had to be one, something that was totally going to be 100% get into the bloodstream, okay, 100% bioavailable. That's what that means, get into the bloodstream. It had to be backed by science. It has the NSF certification on it, and it had to be safe for children all the way to elderly people. And this met all those criteria. So here's some of the other things. I won't go through all of it, but here's some of the other things that it actually does help with. Reducing the oxidative stress, right, in the DNA. It actually helps protect our DNA. It helps to reduce inflammation in our body. Why? Because you're getting phytonutrients in your body. Okay, so I know sometimes making healthy changes, it's not always easy, but there is some simple things that you can do. Okay, and again, if there's questions, I'm going to try to answer them as well. So one of the things that I do every single month, and I am really a living prodigy of this, and Brian does this with me as well. So every single month with a group of people, this is the free program that I was telling you about. Do people have to get the nutritional support end of it? Absolutely, okay, absolutely. But everything else, there's guideline books, there's recipe books, there's community support, there's a private group that I have with my people that do this with me every single month. So for 10 days, we do something called the Shred 10, where you're actually shredding bad habits that we have, implementing good habits like eating more plants, right? Eating fresh foods, having nutrition, the shakes, and having nutrition in your body, and not just there's different things we do with those. We can cook with them. We can make ice cream. We can make pudding, fruit dip, fudge, all kinds of things, pancakes, muffins, okay? You drink plenty of water. You take 10 deep breaths every single day, and you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep daily, and you exercise most days. And what do you take out? You eliminate or reduce caffeine and alcohol. No eating after, that's a hard one for me personally for 6 p.m. So we don't eat after 7:15, 7:15, okay? And that way we do what's called intermittent fasting, okay? No processed food. And then you eliminate gluten and dairy and refined sugar altogether, okay? So why would you want to eliminate gluten? Gluten and dairy, you guys, are very, very inflammatory. They're, besides sugar, and sugar actually is more addictive than cocaine is, you guys. There is studies on that. Excuse me, you can look that up. Okay, there's studies on that. But gluten and dairy are very inflammatory for the body. And no, you don't just have to be, have celiacs in order to, eat gluten-free. I don't have celiac disease or anything, and I don't even have a gluten intolerance. But I actually do not eat gluten. Okay. Once in a while, I'll have a pizza, like I said to you, once in a while. Okay. But if you look at the bottom where it says the other benefits of gluten, being gluten-free, is it regulates your weight. So for me, it helps regulate my weight. It reduces migraines. I actually had sinus migraines, and I still get them once in a while, but I stopped having them as frequent. It lowers blood pressure. It helps you sleep better, helps you manage depression because it affects your mood. Gluten affects your mood. It helps you breathe better, okay? Regulates your blood sugar. It does regulate your blood sugar and reduces gum disease and clearer vision. Those are just some of the benefits of going gluten-free. Now, okay, here it goes again. It got stuck. But that's where, really when you're elevating and you're getting into the groove and, something just wants to get you, that little gremlin. So let me stop share for a second. Oh, it's always fun, always fun with some tech here. Let's go back to there. All right, let's go back into here. And we are actually getting ready to have a storm. So maybe it's some of that. So let's go. Let's see. Okay, let's go here. Let's try to go from current slide. Okay, here we go. So some dairy-free benefits. I'm gonna try to whiz through this because I know we're getting ready to, what time is it? Yep, okay. So dairy-free benefits, yeah, you can go back and look at this slide. It actually helps reduce inflammation. It helps reduce bloating. It helps reduce mucus. So for me personally, the non-dairy benefits, the ones that we use, the non-dairy alternatives, is we actually use coconut cream to cook with and coconut milk. We use almond milk and we use cashew milk most of the times with all of that versus the other ones. But the other ones are very, very good too. So if you have you can't have almond, you can have hemp or the coconut milk, okay? Cashew milk is very, very, a little bit more creamier. So people like that. Sometimes we'll get the mixture between coconut and almond milk, right? They mix mixtures of this. So just start to play around. And like I said, if people that work with me with different things, if you decide of wanting to know any more about what I call the shred, there's guidelines, there's tracking sheets, there's cookbooks, there's meal prep, there's grocery lists, all of that, okay? So no worries, it's all there for you. All right, so here's some of the things like, healthy eating doesn't have to be hard. Over here to the left, that's overnight oats with some of the plant-based protein powder, right? That's in there. So it's so yummy. You can take this and put it in your fridge overnight and take this for yourself for lunch the next day. You can make Buddha bowls. All you have to do is just Google sometimes some of these things, clean eating snacks. If you're on Pinterest, I'm not on Pinterest, but a lot of people are. Look up, colorful and healthy Buddha bowls. Look those things up. And then salad mason jars. I love to do this. So during the summertime, I have people come over and, haven't yet because it's still COVID things, but Brian and I will still make these and we'll have all kinds of different greens and cut up, different things that we want to put in a salad. And what you do is you build that first. So you put all your side stuff in it, right? You could put tomatoes, olives, black peppers, chickpeas, beets, radishes, corn, whatever you like. You fill that first, and then you could put spinach, not iceberg lettuce, spinach or kale, or a mix of that, and then seal it, have dressing to the side, bring that to work for you. And all you do is you undo it, dump it over. So simple, you guys, so simple. Here's some more yummy things, right? So remember that picture I showed you of the sad diet? This is not part of that. These are healthy, great meals that you can have with making some of these healthy changes, okay? So anyway, just as a reminder, you can have that air fryer cookbook if you'd like. Just send me, when you text me, please tell me your name and that you would like, whoop, okay, dismiss, okay, and that you would like that particularly, because I'm going to offer you another free gift, okay? Okay, so I want to open it up for questions and answers, and then I'm going to give you one more free gift after we do that. If you want to come off of mute. Whoop. Anybody have any questions? I think Teresa does. If you want to go ahead.
Sure. You had mentioned apples and eating maybe an apple a day in place of a multivitamin. So I just wondered, there's many different types of apples. Are there any apples that are better than others? I think some apples have quite a bit of sugar. So just wondering.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So with apples, usually like the not Granny Smith's, just the what's the red Gala apples,
Red Delicious?
yeah, just regular Red Delicious are good. Now, I wouldn't just have that in place of a multivitamin, but the point of it is that there's like 10,000 phytonutrients in just an apple, because you're right, you have to watch the sugar intake in different things. So again, you've got a combination of what you're doing. You've got to really watch with those things, but an apple can be a very good snack too. You take almond butter, so cut up your apple, take almond butter, drizzle your almond butter over it, and put some cinnamon on it, and oh my gosh, so good. And you can make that, like, you know how people make some different like nachos? You can do apple nachos and do that, and actually sprinkle some like cut up cashews or walnuts and those types of things on it as well. Okay, but Teresa, to answer I don't know offhand personally, so I'm going to be very upfront. I don't know offhand personally which apple is actually even better for you, but I know that we've always talked about like the Red Delicious apples when we're doing, and I've heard the research on it. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. Anybody else?
Someone else had also asked about the ACV pills. I know I do a pill that was, oh my gosh, I had a girlfriend that told me that this particular pill was more friendlier than the rest or whatever. But are there any recommendations you have with the ACV liquid versus the pill?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. That would be something I would have to really research more for you, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you'd like, Shannon, I mean, one of my gifts is going to be a complimentary 20-30 minute session with me, so we can chit chat, and then I can find out a little bit more about, anybody, whatever. If something is, you're working with trying to make some different changes or those things, then we can look at them together and see what would be best for you. I come more from the standpoint of a lot of whole foods and the nutrition with that, but there is other supplements that I, like for instance, I take a collagen boost because this is all vegan. So I take a collagen boost and I just put it either in my smoothies in the morning or I mix it in water, and it's so good. So it depends on the stage of where people are in their walk of health and being more mindful in what they're doing. So part of what I also teach is the mindfulness about what we are putting in our bodies and why. right? There's a different, there's the, sometimes we have the addictions to things and sugars and this and that, but we have to learn how to supplement those things and add in the other good things, right? So thank you for asking that question, but we would have to research that a little bit more. Okay. And what I'd like to do you one more, and I promise I'll stay on, I'll answer some things if I can, but here's the additional bonus for you. Okay. Some of you, I think, have already texted me about wanting to have the air fryer recipe cookbook. Not a problem. Make sure you told me though that that's what it is, because your additional gift for today, and as we wrap up our 4-part series for overall health, wellness, mindset, everything, is that you can absolutely schedule a 30-minute chat session with me. We'll talk about anything that's coming up for you, whether it is stress, overwhelm, things that you can do simply for your diet. If you want to talk a little bit more about the free program that I work with people in with it, and that's my way of giving back. It's a free community program that we do with, like, we have health experts in it and everything. So it's amazing because I said it's my way of being able to give back, because I know that your destiny is not what your DNA was, it's what it can be for yourself. Okay. And what I would love for you to do is tell me one thing. And again, when you send me a text, send me your name, okay? But tell me one thing that you're going to implement from today, whether, you're going to do the lemon, water, whether you're going to double, but just have 2 more glasses of water per day, whether you're going to start cutting out, some of your meat intake, whether you're going to do a little bit more organic, whether you want to talk about adding more fruits and veggies into your diet, because you know what? Isn't the normal doctor always telling you that, you should be really eating more fruits and veggies? They do tell you that. They do tell you that. And how long have we been hearing from our parents and from our grandparents? You really need to eat more fruits and veggies. So for me, I found the easy button to make sure, because even though I eat really well, you guys, now it was a process and I had to learn to build that muscle. But what I can tell you is that this is the biggest gap insurance. Excuse me, it's gap insurance for me. Because do you think that I get, or anybody on God's green earth can get 9 to 14 servings every single day of all the fruits and veggies and all the color of the rainbows every day on their own? No, right? It's impossible. So that's why even that one simple change with the capsules, I'm sorry, one simple change with the capsules is so beneficial. Okay. So any other questions? And I would love for you to come off of, I gotta take some water. I need you to come off of the video for a minute so we can take a picture.
Somebody did want to know the brand name of the plant-based omegas that you showed.
It's the same ones, and I have a link for that. It's Juice Plus. Excuse me. This is, I do recommend this through my practice, and I have a link for it, and so I would be able to help take care of people. I'm sorry, you guys. Thank goodness this happened towards the tail end. But it is Juice Plus, and it is vegan and plant-based. So if you want to know, I have some different options on those things, on how you can get it. It gets shipped directly to you. You'd be, somebody I would be in contact with to be able to help, and you get it directly through myself. You would get it directly through myself as a whole food distributor in my practice, and not through the company. It goes actually through us and not directly from the company, if that makes sense. But it goes to you. Okay, but if you have any questions on that, we can bring it up. Feel free to give me a quick text. We'll set up a time to be able to chat. Not a problem. Anybody else? Let me see if I can. Let me stop the share for a second. I want to see if we can. Galaxy view. All right, is there any way, if some more people can come back on, I wanted to take a quick picture. Yep, fix the hair just a little bit. Don't worry. Yeah, come back on. So you guys, this is really, there's lots of other free resources for you, okay? Don't be shy to reach out to me. My goodness. Do not be shy to reach out. I am harmless, I promise you, and I will give you a whole lot of value. And I have used many different things over the years ago. So a lot of this was by constant research. And then now being equipped in a community that I have called the Healthy Living Revolution, where I have access to doctors and scientists and things like that, and who made all of these products. Okay, so we just, I'm so appreciative. So let me take a quick picture. Everybody smile. Good, 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 good. And any other questions? Oh, Susan Crutchfield, hello. I see her. Hi, how are you? All right. Anybody else? I know some of this, looking at your own health and what you're doing, just really be reflective. Cold water is not good for a cough. Yes, exactly. I do not drink cold water, just so you know. I drink room temperature water. Cold, a lot of cold things are not actually really good for your digestive system. Learned that from one of my functional medicine friend doctors a long time ago. So, like I said, even in the morning, I drink room temperature. We have a water filter thing that we use, and we don't use even during the summertime. Okay, and then when I go out somewhere, just a quick tip: when I actually go out somewhere now, and I ask for water, I ask for no ice. Okay. Somebody else? I cannot believe this. You get one of these tickles and it's like doesn't want to go away. Woo! Oh, you guys, thank you so much for being on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I just love your CEO, Marsha, is just incredible to be able to bring this to the association. My gosh. And I appreciate all of you being on. And again, like I said, I do have plenty of free resources for people that do work with me in my practice, my holistic, coaching and wellness practice. I can tell you how that works as well. Some people do, some people don't, and that's okay. But you still get to be able to talk, and we'll be able to talk through some things that's personally going on for you in your life and or your health. And if I don't know, like you said, like right in here, if I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. I'm not an actual health provider, okay, but I am a practitioner in some different things that I have the span on, and I can give you what I know and what the research is on the things that I have been taking, and even give you some other resources for books and some things to make some different steps that way as well. Okay. Sound good? All right. Thank you guys so much. And if you've been sitting for this whole time, thanks, Shannon. If you've been sitting this whole time, I'm going to, thank you, Casey. Thank you. Yeah, let me go back to the chat for a second. If you've been sitting this whole time, I'm going to invite you to get up after this, kind of move around for a quick 5 minutes at least, and kind of just, even if you need a jog in place, like seriously. Me, I've actually been standing this whole time doing the presentation because I know I was sitting earlier, right? So you have to have that balance. Make sure you're getting up every 20 to 30 minutes is when you want to make sure you're getting up and kind of changing position and moving. Do a couple quick, 15, 25 jumping jacks. Literally drop down if you can. If you could do some push-ups, do some push-ups. Do some squats, okay? Do something, move your body. So thank you so much, Susan. Yeah, yeah. And Susan, she knows if you talk to me, there's some webinars and resources, like I said, that I can actually send to you based on, if it's something that we have in our library that's based on something that could possibly help you. But, there's some resources that I sent to Susan about, food and mindset and some different things, right? And Eileen, yep, thank you so much for being with us here too. and definitely need to stretch. Absolutely. We all need to stretch. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Good reminders and great new information. Great. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. You know, some of the things I always say too is, even though like we've heard forever, well, I got to eat more fruits and veggies, right? You know, some of these things are inflammatory, or eat an inflammatory diet. The thing is, do we do it? Right? And I don't mean that as like ugliness. It's like, do we do it? And if we do it, have we mastered it? That's the thing. We may know it, but there's a knowing doing gap. And if we know it, are we doing it? And if we're doing it, have we mastered it? Okay. That's what I'd invite you to think, those three things. Okay. Yes. And if there's anybody else, well, let me see. Anybody else? Yeah. Great. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Oh, very important. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, good. And that's going to do lemon water every day from now on. Yes. Great, 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 great. And whoever asked me about the apple cider vinegar, if you shoot me a text, again, it's 910-670-9172. I will gladly give you the little detox thing and the recipe for that if you want to do a 10 or 12-day detox for your liver. Very, very simple to do. And yeah, overnight oats. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate everybody. Have a great afternoon. Blessings, blessings. Again, anytime you want to reach out, feel free. Elaine has our information. So does Marcia. And you guys, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. If there's anybody else that's in your family, you know, that you want to pass some of this information on, and I will gladly, I even have a full presentation on gut health and the microbiome that you can listen to on your own. It talks a little bit more about the shred that I was telling you about and why, really the nitty gritty behind it. Okay. So thanks everybody. Appreciate you. Blessings. And Eileen, if you could stay on just one more second, I appreciate it. Thanks everybody.